right, everybody, welcome back to the grand finals of the Ninja Racing League between Knucklebuster and Beer Full of Belly. My name is Perfect Finn, and I am joined by, if I'm being honest, my favorite ninja, Fabricator General. Welcome back to the
Oh,
booth, Fab.
that's high praise right there. I don't know that I deserve that. What's going on, Finny?
Just got done watching an incredible third place match between Arcus and the Retro Runner. We really got our money's worth. That game 5 was that was, as Retrophile put it, something special. I'm really glad we got to be a part of that.
Yeah, I don't think I just don't think I was breathing for a lot of that. I kind of had to recover a little bit after. Seriously, 2 sub-12s in a race that's insane. Absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, very pleased to see Retro Runner kind of regroup and be able to put up those kind of performances. That was really fun to watch.
Yeah, that shouldn't be understated. I mean, he spent an entire week away from home, literally just got home from a flight that, that was late and delayed, and then put everything together and did all of this. And then to have his semifinal round go the way it did with the soft lock and all those other problems, and to come back with the attitude that he had, that was just so positive after all that is pretty incredible. There's a I don't think. I think. I don't know. I don't know that I could have handled that well. That was well done.
No, yeah, I think it's an incredible amount of class to, spend, get like 3 hours of sleep, miss a flight, spend 10 hours on a plane, and then, like you said earlier, come home and play a very frustrating, incredibly difficult video game against the best players in the world for the next, 6 hours.
Right. That's everybody's plan, right? Exactly what we want to do. All right, so we're about to kick off the finals. This is going to be a best of 5, Beer Full Belly and Knucklebuster. Before we get started, though, I'm gonna sit here and talk for a minute because I have a lot of big thank yous. Thank you for the raid, by the way, Arcus. I have a lot of thank yous to give out. So this whole thing was born out of a conversation, sort of like a speedrunning existential crisis I had on stream one day. I wanted to see different skill sets used in this game. I wanted to see backup strats and improv. And we've been doing races every Saturday for a while, and I really liked everybody come together. And I liked seeing that community and the gathering of people within the community getting together to do race stuff. And I wanted to see a way for runners to celebrate success outside of leaderboards. And I was really lucky because that day Seamless Link was in my chat, and he basically said, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." And he said, "But you need to be serious. I'll do this, but you need to be serious." And so he messaged me in Discord next day, and many days after that, there was lots of planning. But I can't. What I need to say here is thank you to everybody. This was a community effort, and especially to Seamless Link. This would have never happened without him. So I owe him big time. On the back end, we've got race admins, Black Squall, and Ultra Minimalist. When we first started this, we didn't think there was going to be anybody. I mean, we thought maybe 20 or 30 people were going to show up. We're not big streamers. We thought it was going to be a community thing and we could handle it on our own. We learned pretty early on that was not the case, and we needed a lot of help. This would not have been possible without Black Squall and Ultra Minimalist running things on the back end. Our race admins, big shout out to them. Retrophile TV has to be probably some of the best commentary, seriously, on Twitch. The guy is the consummate professional. Huge help and bailed us out big time. Same for you, Finny. To absolute top-notch commentary, really helping us out, because we couldn't have done all the stuff we're doing on the back end with setting things up and setting the stream up and commentate. It's just not possible. Noise Police, Retro Runner reached out to us and said, "Hey, here's some music we made. You guys can use it. No big deal." Music and Gaming actually composed his own song, his own music specifically for this event. So huge thank you to all of them for making the music. MTK Woodworking, SDMF Aster Creep, both contributed for our graphics, both for the Discord and for the t-shirts that were used. So huge thank you to them. Retro Runner, MTK, and CHX all contributing for the prize pool. And I think this is the really important thing I need to say about none of these people, literally none of them, asked for anything. They just offered of their own accord to help. No shout outs, no compensation, no nothing. And the prizes, those guys, you know, we were prepared to buy the prizes straight up, and they said no, we'll do it at cost. We'll give you a discount for the prizes. I mean, it was at every step of the way. This has been a community event, and we could not have done it without the community. It would not be possible. So a huge thank you. 23 racers, way more than we ever thought. So thank you so much to all the racers. This was a big undertaking for all of you, and we really appreciate it. To everybody who came out and watched, you guys are amazing. I had no idea. We had no clue it was going to be this big and there was going to be this many people here watching. Holy crap. I don't even know what to say, but thank you so much for being here. We wanted this to be a free event, and this is just to showcase all of these runners and this game that we love a lot. And so we just appreciate you being here. That can't be overstated. For those of you who chose to donate during this time, during the races, all of that is going toward the prize pool for the racers. And we actually had enough shirts sold that we have some to give it. So our prize pool is going to be, you've got a custom-made CHX controller, a custom-made Retro Runner controller, and an MTK woodworking custom engraved pedal. And that's a prize pool. So the first place gets their choice, second place gets the second choice, third place gets the last one, and then the fourth place, Arcus is going to be getting a NRL T-shirt as well. So, and again, just huge thank you to all of y'all for everything. And so I wanted to I'm going to step off the soapbox here so we can get this thing going, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, because this literally would not have happened without all of your help. And I owe every single one of you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Fab. I could not have said it better myself, and I think it really fits the theme that we've been talking about earlier in the evening, a theme that, you know, people have kind of been going back and forth on in the various speedrunning communities. But, you know, once again, it's not us versus each other, it's us versus the game, and seeing everyone come together in this way is something really, really special. I'm very fortunate to have been a part of. So thank you so much for having me, and I really do appreciate all the kind words.
No, absolutely. Like I said, it really can't be overstated how much we owe everyone for all of their help. So, all right. So without further ado, we're going to get this thing going. I just gave them the 60-second warning. It looks like Knuckle Buster has worked his way about halfway through the game while I was talking.
Yeah, I think Arco Toko in chat said, "What's happening? Like, KB's too far ahead. B-Fob isn't even playing. He won't be able to catch up." But if I'm being honest, Fab, I agree. I like KB. He's like really won me over during the course of this event. It's not that I didn't like him before, but I think he and I started speedrunning around the same time. You know, both started about a year ago, right around the beginning of the pandemic. And, you know, I hadn't heard of the guy, and I knew that he was new to Ninja Gaiden, and I was like, well, that game's impossible. We'll see if he sticks with it. And, you know, now he's one of the best players in the world, and he has put up such an incredibly impressive performance over the course of this event. And I don't know. I have a very strong feeling that he's going to take it all down. I very much think it would be well deserved at this point. So he is my pick for our fastest ninja of the NRL Grand Finals.
Very nice, very nice. Maybe, you know, as a commentator, I feel compelled. I ought to take the other side. You know, B-Fob spent the majority of this tournament undefeated. So I just he is he's the more consistent runner, I think. KB has had some incredibly fast times though, but I think just in order to take the other side from you, I'm gonna have to pick B-Fob here as the winner, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, BFOB is one of the OG Ninja Gaiden runners. Dude's talent cannot be understated. He also has a, for what it's worth, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in this scenario, but he does have a better PB than Knucklebuster. Beerful of Belly, I believe, has an 1148, and I want to say KB has an 1151 for what that is worth. It is worth noting that BFOB's last PB was a year ago, and KB's was 2 days ago. So KB actually PB'd very recently while doing race practice. So, but that's not to say that Beerful of Belly's not playing this game on a regular basis, because I've seen him stream it off and on a number of times over the course of the past year.
Yeah, very true. So we are off and heading through Act 1, and we are literally locked almost frame for frame going into Act 2. This is really cool to see.
Yeah, the stage load there is a good indication. The way each of the stages load in, you have a nice kind of 3-second countdown. You can see the screen kind of fills in and colors in more and more. And yeah, that was really beautifully synced up. Both players' climbs looking okay. Not the worst, but they're still honestly very synced up at this point as we maneuver through the first couple screens of 2-1 and head into what we've referred to multiple times this evening as the bounce house. We've seen, yep, right there, KB got a little tripped up. That step has been giving a number of runners problems over the course of this event, and it looks like a small mistake, but sometimes that's all it takes, and they definitely add up over the course of the race.
Yeah, if there's one area of this game that we could just completely get rid of, it's that bounce house screen. I'd be perfectly fine with completely omitting that screen from the game.
Yeah, the movement required to navigate is a little annoying, and mistakes can be frustrating in that way. But both runners still, very, very synced up at this point. We see them grab this fire wheel or fire shield rather for protection and move into the final screen of stage 2-2. Go for this bat boost here. Both runners do get the nice optimal forward boost, and once again we see them just beautifully synced up as we move towards the Act 2 boss fight.
Yeah, they are still locked up. This is really cool to see. I don't know what it is about just seeing the mirror image of two run. Oh wow, KB having to do some improv there.
Yeah, it was a little hairy for a second, but KB, once again, we talked about this before, low percent and pacifist current world record holder, no stranger to kind of having to improv his way out of those hairy situations. But once again, kind of a marginal time loss. Both runners still fairly close here as we move into the first screen of 3-1. We've seen 3-1 give runners a number of troubles over the course of the event. It can be a little hard to throw this star and grab this fire wheel. We actually saw KB he knocked the fire wheel down, just didn't pick it up, just kept on cruising. Said, oops, dropped my wallet, had to double back for it.
That's right. It's interesting. I've said before, whenever I watch these two runners, they remind me of each other. They have a precision and consistency with their runs that it sticks out. Once you watch this game enough, you kind of get an idea of somebody's personality almost within the style of their run. And I wonder, and I've said this before, I wonder if it's because of their time in low percent. They both, if I remember right, BFOB used to have the world record in low percent. KB currently holding it. And they both have extensive experience without any of the pickups in this game, which of course leads to precision and consistency and lots of backups. And it's really cool actually to see them going against each other here in the finals.
Yeah, and wow, we are still just really, really synced up on our way out of 3-3. Both players getting what we refer to as the standard kill on the Massacre boss fight. But I do agree with you, Fab. I think, having that low percent experience and that pacifist experience and that race experience, it puts a little swagger in your step, if I'm being honest, when it comes to these Ninja Gaiden strategies. You'll see KB do some, kind of what other people would consider unconventional movements, just here and there, just kind of sprinkled in over the course of the run. I'm a big fan of it. I like when people kind of, do their things their own way, avoid the group think. If it's more comfortable or it feels, more optimal for you, then yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's very much a race strat. It's just, what are you comfortable with? What is your best strategy? And how do you build a consistent yet fast run around that? You see KB there choosing to pause there before the break in the railroad track. Again, that's a strat. Some runners that we've seen tonight have been perfectly comfortable with jumping that at speed, and others haven't. It's just a personal preference there.
Yeah, KB had to pause ever so slightly so he could get a clean spin slash on all three enemies and just clear out the riffraff, but both runners still very, very close here. Interesting, KB didn't go for the damage boost there at the end of 4-2 off the Pickle Ninja to get boosted up the ladder. I wonder why he forwent that. Health typically not a concern for most runners' routes as you move into 4-3. I wonder if that was just a little slip of the fingers, perhaps.
It's possible. Maybe his thumb was in the wrong position. Sometimes if you land too late or too far to the right on that platform before the jump, then it'll once you hit the ladder, you'll be too high on the ladder, and then if you try to go for that boost, you'll jump right over that the enemy there, and it'll end up costing a lot of time. So it's possible he thought maybe he was malpositioned. Ooh, wow.
KB on one of those bad globals, I got hung up in that hammer, bro, and he's gonna lose a little bit of time. Was able to kind of clean it up and make it out, relatively unscathed. Obviously, it's an unfortunate time loss, but it could have went way worse for him.
And that's a really odd place for that sort of error to occur. He must have maybe that's just the perfect hammer bro to take him out, but he actually posted a Ninja Gaiden Discord not but a couple weeks ago that very strat right there, and everybody's sort of been utilizing it ever since. It's a really consistent way of getting through that area and negating that hammer bro, but not all patterns are negatable, so he may have just found that one.
Sure. Oh, Beerful of Belly kind of getting a little beat up here by the bird. Took an extra hit. Going to be a little short on health as he moves into 5-2. Ooh, he also took a hit on that Axe Knight there. Already about 50 to 60% health as he moves into 5-2. It's going to be a little hairy, but, once again, we're talking about people who have held or previously held the low percent world record. So I think Beerful is going to probably have some tricks up his sleeve that, honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm not even aware of. And I don't anticipate that it's going to be continue to be an issue for him as he maneuvers into the next couple screens of 5-2.
Yeah, that particular enemy will deal 3 hits of damage, which is the same as doing the bird boost at the back half there. So his health situation should be about the same at this point, as if he had just taken the double bird boost. And he is electing, it looks like, to skip the health pickup. I had some issues with that Ohan drop.
It was a really nice cleanup. That also could have went way worse. He didn't actually spin out the bird there, and the bird actually came back, stayed on screen, and swooped back around. He had to kind of do some stutter steps to avoid. That could have went way worse. If he had taken, that bird hit and then gotten the bird boost, he'd be looking at, like 2 bars of health, which could be really, really dicey as he tries to finish out 5-3.
Yeah, for those of you who are just tuning in, so this is our finals match. This is to decide who wins the NRL tournament for 2021. And you're seeing the very first race of a best of 5 match going on right now. We're about halfway through it. Looks like KB keeping the lead here, maybe 3-4 seconds ahead at this point.
Yeah, once again, we've kind of, discussed this previously, but 3 or 4 seconds is not much when it comes to Jackie and the Demon. But yeah, very incredible seeing Beerful of Belly and Knucklebuster face off in our grand finals. Beerful of Belly currently 5th on the leaderboard, KB currently tied for 7th. Having a 3rd place match between Arcus and the Retro Runner, the current 1st and 2nd any percent leaderboard holders, is it's just really, really neat that we're here in this position, and it's totally wild. I don't think anybody would have really anticipated, or I think if we were doing like a fantasy situation, we had brackets and we were betting money, I think most people's brackets would have been busted. But we'll see Beerful just ever so slightly still behind KB, a good, like you said, 3 seconds, but this is still very much anybody's race.
Yeah, both of them, it looked like using some interesting swag star strats to get through 6-1. Beerful having a little problem there with some of those enemies, so that's going to put him a second or 2 back. KB looked like he got through that first portion of 6-2 pretty quickly. Yeah,
his execution was nice and clean, which I really like to see. 6-2, I've said I think is one of the tougher screens in the game, and the mistakes there can really start to add up. There's so many enemies, so many hammers, etc. Oh, Beerful missed the ladder transition.
He got knocked back by that hammer, bro, and then missed the ladder train. That's gonna be really big. I mean, he's probably a good 10 seconds or so behind at this point.
Yeah, it's adding up pretty quickly here. As we say, KB nail the exit boost for 6-2 and start 6-3 as, Beerful of Belly's just now starting the screen. So KB, quite a sizable lead here as we move into the very last stage of the final act of Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, KB exit door 10:13. VFOB was a 10:23. So exactly 10 seconds of difference between these two runners at this point.
Yeah, still doable, but I wouldn't like my odds. And we see KB move here in for the bird boost. Low bird is indeed a myth as he nails it. Let's see if Beerful can do the same. Sets up, kills the Silver Knight, jumps for the manip. Nice bird boost. And I'd be interested to see what kind of strategies the runners opt here. This last screen, if we see, flip flop, Beerful boost. Looks like KB just going for a nice standard flip flop. I like it.
Yeah, just gonna view his way into the door there. It looks like BFOB's setting up as well for just the flip flop and the easy way in.
Yeah, doesn't even go for his namesake boost, which is interesting to me, but yeah, I respect it. It's a race. Know your limits.
It is, and at the very end there, I'm sure nerves are a big part of it. You just want to get in that door and get the stages over with.
Mm-hmm.
Good 3 cycle from Knucklebuster. Had some issues there at the beginning, but recovered really well.
Yeah, KB Beerful, nice. He chases it down, is able to clean it up. Gains a little bit of time there, a couple seconds.
Yeah, very good kill. Probably save a good 2 seconds there. Again, he's still going to be 8 seconds or so behind at this point. Good read by KB there, reading that last shrimp. That was a good read.
Yeah, very, very, very good patience to kind of cement that victory. Really, really liked the way he read and reacted to the shrimp patterns to really, ensure his win.
Yeah, well done. GG's to our runners. That's a close race. KB taking a 12:02, BFOB with a 12:07.
Yeah, BFOB just kind of got hung up in a couple spots. Happened I think like 2 times where he just had a couple costly mistakes, and they just kind of add up. We saw him miss that ladder transition on one of the last screens of 6-2. He took that knockback from the hammer bro and then missed the ladder transition. I mean, that was probably a good 5 or so seconds right there, and yeah, they just kind of slowly added up, and it proved to be too much, and KB was able to take it down. He's now up 1-0 in the grand finals of the NRL. The inaugural NRL, but once again, this is a best of 5, so Beerful of Belly still has a lot of beer in the tank, I guess.
That's right. He's got plenty of beer in that belly left. The it's interesting. This race went just about like you would expect. You've got 2 extremely fast and consistent runners, both with a pretty decent amount of race experience, especially with Knucklebuster, and you've got. Basically, what decided this race was just simple, small errors and knockbacks. Nothing extreme, nothing out of the ordinary, no major errors of any sort. And both of them bringing down a low, a 12:0x time, 12:02 and a 12:07. Differential between the two of them is 5 seconds. That's an incredible amount of talent.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what I want to see. I think these are 2 very evenly matched runners. I think they have, like you said, I think they've went to similar Ninja Gaiden schools. I think that they have very similar play styles, and I think that's going to be very fortunate for us, because I think it's going to result in some very, very interesting and rewarding games as we let our racers prepare for game 2 of this best of 5.
Right. So we got them in the new race room and just gave them the 60-second warning. So we'll be off here in about a minute. Finny, it looks so far like your prediction is holding true.
That's what they called me back when I was in school. They called me Estimate Finn. I wasn't quite perfect yet, but they called me Estimate Finn. But no. Yeah, good estimate. But no, KB looked good. I don't think, either runner made any completely egregious mistakes. So I don't see either participant getting too in their own heads about, strategy adjustment or just nerves, things of that nature. And honestly, I don't know either of these guys very well, but I've tuned into both of their streams quite a bit. And even though KB doesn't have a cam or a mic, I can just like see through his gameplay. Neither of them strike me as particularly nervous types. And I think that both of them would be happy to see either person win. I think they're both just having a good time. And I think that bodes well for us because it's going to let them play to the best of their ability. But yeah, if I'm being honest, Fab, I like KB. He's up 1-0. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, I think that's a good call on personality calls there. Like, again, I don't know either of these runners personally, but I've been in their streams. I've seen, talked in Discord and whatnot, and Knucklebuster strikes me as just sort of a really chill, laid back kind of guy. I would agree. I can't imagine him being terribly nervous. And Beerfold, same. He, his stream is really fun. And he's sort of got that seasoned veteran calm about him, similar to Arcus. I don't see any way that that he's gonna get upset by anything or stressed out or whatnot. So actually, we were about to begin, and it looks like Knucklebuster had a small hiccup, so we are paused for just a second. We'll be
KB can't resist loading into 1-1 to do some quick mash practice. So
that's right.
Can't say I blame the guy though.
All right, so there we go. Looks like everybody's ready back up. And we should be going here about 10-15 seconds.
So, what did you think about each runner's strat selection? Did you think either of them played too safe? Or do you like their strats? Do you think you just need to clean up the execution a little bit and kind of stay to the script?
Yeah, I can't imagine that either one of them is upset at all about how they played or their strat selection or anything like that. I wouldn't be making any changes if I were either one of it. Even if I was BFOB here, I'm saying to myself, okay, I ran my game plan. So did KB. We're within 5 seconds of each other. I just got worse RNG, or you can blame 5 seconds on Ninja Gaiden. I'm not looking at a 5 second difference and saying I did something wrong. I need to change a strat. They're both going full out here, I think. And with race strats, as full out as you can be with race stats.
Right.
We're killing the heart. We're not killing the tail. I can't imagine either one of them making any changes here.
Yeah, I would agree. We've seen the occasional pause here and there for, a butt clench cliff or a particularly problematic bat. But yeah, I think they're kind of just going at it, which I really like. Neither runner really holding too many punches. Like we said, we're not seeing any tail kills. Everybody's going straight for the demon heart. And I really like that. We're putting up some really competitive low 12-0Xs already. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some 1150Xs as we move into these remaining games of this best of 5. But so far in 2-1, both runners looking really clean. And once again, we have that really, really pleasing sync to watch up as we move into Fab's favorite part of 2-1, the bounce house.
Oh, we could just get rid of it. That would be great. We could just ROM hack the game, and it's a really short screen. Just remove that one screen, and the game is wonderful after that.
So this is interesting. Beerful has the swag star, and I've noticed throughout the tournament, KB has opted for what I did when I was running this game on any percent. He opts to keep spin slash, and I like that as a race strategy because, like we've talked about, if you have some costly mistakes early in 1-1 or 2-1, get on some weird global timers, that first hammer bro can be problematic. And KB really the only runner I've seen opt for that safe spin slash strategy to clear that first hammer bro, but it's paid off. I've never seen him get caught up.
Yeah, well, I had this conversation with him after the group stage. He came in and I can't remember whose chat, if he was in my chat, if I was in his, but he said he was pointing out I was the only other runner that used that. And I don't normally use the spin slash when I run the game for PB attempts, but I use it in race attempts for that very reason. And he was saying it was interesting that we were the only two that were using it. What was interesting there is he actually he does something a little bit different than even what I do, which is slightly faster. he doesn't pick up that tempo above the free fall area. He just goes straight over and back, and he just hoards Nimpo at the beginning of the stage, which is pretty smart. If you're fast with your sword cancels, you can pick up time getting extra Nimpo there rather than picking up that tempo on that jump. So that's a pretty smart strategy. And as we were saying when we were talking about it, nobody's really going for frame perfect free fall or a good free fall right there with the Swag Star, which is the reason why the Swag Star is faster than the Spin Slash on that stage. So you're really not losing that much time with that strat.
No, that makes sense. I like it. And I like seeing that kind of innovation, from these runners. I think it's important, not to get too caught up in the group. Ooh, Knuckle Buster getting a little caught up in the Hammer Bro there, but yeah, it's important not to get too caught up in the group think. And once again, if you think you've got a good idea, test it out, bust out live split, do some comparisons, and maybe you've got yourself a new race strategy or a new backup strategy, and you can kind of eventually, once you perfect that, share it with the rest of the community.
Yeah, for sure. Both approaching butt clinch cliff. B-Fob makes it through. KB is through as well. All right. Sort of collectively holding our breath there at the butt clinch cliff area after what's going on, after what's happened there today.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some untimely deaths at the hands of butt clinch cliff this evening. But KB and Beerful kind of bringing an untimely death to the Act 3 boss, Massacre, made quick work of him. Both of them had what I would consider the standard kill. Now moving into 4-1, we've seen a couple people get hung up on this bat. It's interesting to see if they both go for this boost again.
Yeah, looking like B-Fob's making it through and so is KB. KB looked like he manipulated that bat a little bit with a slight little pause there. That was interesting.
Yeah, I've seen him do that before. I'm not sure in what way it's manipulating it, how it makes the pattern more favorable. I guess it would probably give you a lower chance of getting back boosted because of the delay, but I do like that kind of adjustment, tinkering with the game in that way can yield to some really favorable results.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to spawn that bat as low as possible. So it's possible that a little pause there is what might do that. I've actually never seen that strat utilized. It's obviously not an optimal strat from a speed perspective, but for a race, it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. That was weird. Beerful missed a slash on the final Pickle Ninja when he dismounted the bridge. Had to do a little stutter step that I've not really seen before.
I think this is the really cool part about watching races and seeing runners like these compete is you get to see all the little backups and the improvs and us mortals, us normal ninjas, when we screw something up in the course of a run like this, you see a lot of panic and what do I do now? And there's some time you need to think and figure out what you're going to do next. And these guys are so good that you just see them, they'll make a mistake and you might even miss it. They improv so quickly to get back out of it.
Yeah, it's a really valuable race asset. It's just like that, being cool as a cucumber, that calm under pressure, being able to be presented with a new uncomfortable situation and just kind of, just breathe, find your center and just kind of, use your skills that you have and navigate your way through the situation. A lot of people can get unnecessarily stressed out, which can, yield even more unfavorable results. And I think that, people who have played the game this amount of time to this level, they have such an incredible ability to just keep calm in those situations.
Absolutely. So counting the death of the doggos there, it looks like KB is running about 4 seconds behind, all things else being equal through 5-1. We'll see what B-Fob elects to do here going into the bird boost. Looks like he's going to do the single boost. That's right. Yep.
KB also doing the same. So both runners going to have similar time saves coming out of 5-1. Both of them opting for the single bird boost, which is understandable. We've talked about this a lot. Act 5 really where the difficulty starts to ramp up. Health is definitely a consideration. We, like Retrophile said, birds are jerks. All my homies hate jerks, or all my homies hate birds rather, and they do 3 points of damage per hit. So the double bird boost leaving 5-1, you're giving away 6 health for free at the start of the act, which is kind of a big ask. So I respect both runners kind of opting to forgo that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the the bat that you've got to cancel or slash to get there beforehand, where that bat spawns is dependent upon your setup, and it's just a very complicated boost. And as we saw earlier, it took out a runner. So both of them making it through what's probably one of the hardest screens in this entire game. Both Ohan dropping down and then getting the bird boost, making short work of that screen, making it look easy.
Yeah, the bird, aka Janet, as I lovingly call her, both of them, nailing that boost. We've seen that give quite a few runners trouble. A lot of missed boosts. But once again, like you said, I think that particular screen of 5-2 is arguably the most difficult screen in the entire run. But KB and Beerful kind of making quick work of it as we see them finishing up Act 5 here to go fight Mouth at the top of the tower.
Yeah, good pause from KB, seeing the hammer bro throw a hammer at him there. Yep.
He's had a couple really, really good reads like that so far this evening.
Yeah, well done. But he's going to be a little further behind. We'll have to count down. It looks like he's B-Fob's fading to black at 47, Knucklebuster around 42. So still 4 or 5 seconds behind at this point.
Yeah, so 6-1. I honestly, and this is going to be a commentator's curse scenario, but I'm surprised we haven't seen more people get caught up in this screen. But I guess Fearful Belly and Knucklebuster both opt for this kind of Aquas-esque swag star strat. KB didn't go for it here, which is interesting. Kind of does some just Matrix-esque movements, if I'm being honest, to kind of
really
maneuver his way. Yeah, that was really impressive.
It really was. I've never seen that duck and move strat there, but that is spot on. That was Matrix-esque for sure. All right, so B-Fob still in the lead here, going up choke wall in 6-2. KB right behind him. Both look like they're moving. KB's a little low on Nimpo here, but B-Fob's doing okay on it. I think he'll be fine. He's gonna, if he doesn't spin through here, well, he's going in with 5. He should be up. Wow, that's a great climb from KB.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, Beerful avoided the the ladder transition that he had in the previous race, so that's a free 5 seconds that he's getting back from his prior performance. So I think he's going to be very, very happy with that. But both runners get a nice standard exit boost, and KB kind of nipping at Beerful's heels here as we enter the final stage of Act 6, 6-3, moving ever closer to the Jakio and the demon fights. Beerful getting a little hung up on that pillar, and I think KB is going to take every edge that he can get because he's definitely going to need it as we move towards those bosses.
Yeah, for it looked like KB got through that 6-2 exit door at a 10-13 time. So both these runners are on sub 12 pace here if they have good bosses. They are absolutely screaming through this game.
Yeah, both runners have had incredibly clean runs. I think we've seen, a stray knockback here or there. Ooh, as I say that, KB caught a really hairy hammer pattern there for a second. And right next to a pit is never the place you want that to happen. But, he was able to finish out the screen, thankfully.
Yep, quick, we're both moving on. I'm going to count down the time here to see what our difference is. Looks like Beerful fading out at 11:11. And starting up on Jakio.
About 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, about 6 seconds behind. Yep.
Beerful with a really nice jack. Yeah. It's going to be hard for KB to match that, I think.
And it looks like this is B-Fob's race to lose here. He's if he can finish off the demon here, he should have the W.
Yeah, as long as we get a favorable demon pattern here, really, really nice match.
He's killing it.
Yeah, four jumps to finish off the heart. Well, that's gonna go to Beerful Belly, bringing it to 1-1 in our best of 5 grand finals.
That is incredible. He's like a second or two off of his PB. That's a B-Fob just put in an 1150. And
that's awesome.
For reference, his PB is 1148. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a high 1148 too, 1148.867. So to come that close to your any percent PB in a race scenario is pretty wild. It also kind of speaks volumes to what we talked about previously about neither of these guys probably being shaken by nerves. So very, very impressive. GG's to Beerful. That was a really, really cool run to watch.
That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say about that. It's hard to get anywhere near that sort of consistency in that time, just in your normal PB attempts, much less when you're using race strats in a race scenario, and you're going for the NRL championship in the finals. That's unbelievable. What a
Yeah,
performance.
think if he had just been, I mean, if he was doing any percent, I mean, obviously we can't say because, maybe something would have went awry, but assuming that he cuts out the race safeties there, I mean, he PBs on stream, which,
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Absolutely. And we did have a PB early on in group stages, so it does happen. I know even during Saturday night races, we've had just casual races. We've had PBs during race runs, so it does happen, but it's rare, and it is, in my opinion, probably one of the ultimate swag situations. If you can get your PB during a race, that's incredible.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a certain energy that's associated with that. That's kind of unmatched, like kind of making a statement at that point. I came to game, so I really do respect that performance from Beerful. GG once again. Also very happy to see him tie it up 1-1. I would love another 5-game series. That would be just an awesome way to close this out.
Right, so getting the third race room here set up. Both runners are in, and we are just waiting on everybody to get ready, and we will be off to the second race.
Yeah, it's been a long evening, I think, for everyone. So, totally understandable. Somebody needs to take a quick bathroom break or stretch of the legs or hands. This game is, people think that sitting for hours on end playing a video game is easy, but it's also incredibly hard on your body. It's not. It turns out it's not very healthy. So, giving the runners a moment to kind of stretch the legs is probably a wise decision.
Indeed. So, Benny, we were talking about predictions earlier. I don't know.
You think I'm a scared guy? You think I'm shaking in my boots over here?
I don't know. I'm seeing a swag star over there by Beefroll Belly's name now. I don't know. Does this change things?
I'm not gonna lie, Beerful, putting up an 1150 in a race setting, it doesn't make me feel good,
Oh.
But no, I'm still
maybe less than perfect prediction, Penny.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fair weather fan, as some would call, or a bandwagon jumper. I'm definitely very much ride or die. So
good to go. Sticking with it.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we're still just waiting on our ninjas to get readied up, and then we'll be off. Again, that last run, basically the same as the first. We were just talking about how these guys are just going to be separated by seconds, and there's no major errors, extreme consistency throughout. It happened again. It's just another really great run on both parts. It's awesome.
Yeah, very excited to see how the rest of this plays out. I think we've got, two very evenly matched runners. Beerful, kind of one of the first to do it, and KB, like I said, newer to the scene, but incredibly dedicated and incredibly talented. And it's been really interesting seeing how their skills match up, because if I'm being honest, they have very similar play styles. And once again, like you said, kind of goes back to, I think, to some of that low percent experience, but it's really cool to see how that influences both of their play patterns and their strategy selections. But I think this is very, very close, and I think that we have good odds of seeing a nice Game 5 here this evening.
Yeah, so far so good on that account. They're just trading blows back and forth at this point. It's gonna be interesting. Here's the other interesting thing. When we ended group stage 2 weeks ago, KB was seed number 1. Take a wild guess who seed number 2 was.
The guy whose belly is full of beer.
It's possible. It's very possible that you're correct there. The beard full of Harry.
Yeah, I think I kind of, have been, really hyping up Knucklebuster's performance over the course of this event. And I do mean that in earnest. But yeah, I think Beerful his performance also can't really be understated. He's been really impressive. Like you said, he was undefeated in groups, and I think that once again they're just very, very evenly matched.
I'm seeing in chat here, or is it not beard full of Harry? Are we getting that wrong? I was almost certain. All right.
I don't know. They pay us the big bucks to get it correct, so I assume we're getting it correct.
I'd assume it as well. We've got to be right. Interesting. So I gave them the 60-second warning a bit ago. These two are talking it up in race chat. They're sharing good lucks, but they're also talking about what Jackie-O kills they got. What they got the 2.5 cycle. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. They're just not. They're not bothered.
Nah, I think both of them are very, very friendly. I don't think. Yeah, there's no nerves. There's no salt or disdain or anything of that nature. And once again, going back to the way Retro and Arcus interacted in the race chat earlier this evening, I think Retro said something along the lines of like, very honored to race against you, Cowboy Friend or Cowboy Ninja. And I think that's kind of the vibe of this whole event, and it's been really, really fun to watch everybody interact in that way. I think that this is something, it's very special that we can all kind of step away from the stresses of real life, quote unquote, and engage in this thing that we all love and brings us together, brings very, very different people together. And to just see once again, kind of the theme of this tournament is just it's not us versus each other, it's us versus the game, and we can all help each other do better and build each other up. And I think that that's something that speedrunning is all about, that people kind of don't realize or take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the cool things I liked about racing and just these sort of events in general is the community aspect of it, everybody getting together to do something together. And it's really cool to see. It's also cool, like I said earlier, I like the idea of people participating in runs and being celebrated, something outside of leaderboards. And I think it's cool to see. It's cool to see everybody's different skill sets be shown off here. One of the more interesting to me parts of this tournament was Razul, who is probably I consider one of the most consistent racers in Ninja Gaiden running. He is, if we were to, and we've done this on some weekends where instead of just racing flat out for time, we say, okay, you've got an hour to race as many times as you want, to run as many times as you want, and whoever gets closest to their PB at the end of the hour is the winner, right? And Razul is the guy that you pick to win that sort of setup. Mm-hmm. He's just very consistent. And then to see him in a race run in the NRL tournament, go for and hit the butt clinch cliff strat was just absolutely incredible. That was really cool to see. So it's been a lot of fun to showcase everybody's different talents. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think that that you mentioned that previously, that was something that was important to you in hosting this event. You wanted to set it up in a fashion that illustrated different runners and their different skill sets and their different talent levels, and give everybody that kind of stage or platform to do that. And I hope at least I think that we've done a really good job of that. And I hope hope people have enjoyed that and had a fun time. I would like to see that more in the future from not only maybe future NRL events, but just other speedrunning events in general.
Yeah, indeed. We've had lots of requests for our next event. We've already talked about it. It won't be immediate by any stretch of the imagination, but some interesting ideas floated around with a low percent tournament or another any percent tournament, but maybe with teams, like basically with relay races, with a lot of people because that gets everybody from different talent pools in. You get some sub 12 runners, you get some mid 12s runners, 13 minutes runners, etc. You put them all on teams with each other and run them. I think that would be exciting too. So different ideas floated for our next event. We'll have to see whenever that materializes.
Yeah, I agree. So both runners now moving into the beginning of Act 3. I think Beerful just ever so slightly behind. I saw him catch an unfavorable hammer in 2-2, and also I think take a knockback. So just ever so slightly behind Knucklebuster. It can't be more than a couple seconds. But once again, looking really, really close as we move into the first part of 3-2.
Yeah, again, they're just neck and neck here, just keeping pace with each other as usual. I wanna point something out in chat. There's one of my favorite Ninja Gaiden runners asked about Super Nintendo Ninja Gaiden tournament, and I just want to go on the record and say that NRL promises to never ever host any such monstrosity, and that that won't be happening.
We should probably make it a banned term in Seamless's chat.
I think so. I think we should put that particular Ninja Gaiden runner on notice as both here take down Bassiker and will be on their way into 4-1 shortly. Again, probably Knucklebuster looks like maybe a 2-3 second lead at this point.
Yeah, I think it's increased ever so slightly. KB's Basker kill was just a little bit better than Beerful, so might be closer to like 3 or 4. But once again, like we talked about this evening, 3 or 4 seconds in Ninja Gaiden. This game is so just menacingly mean at times, and 3 or 4 seconds is not anything. You cannot attach any sort of value to that. This game will just rip it out of your hands as soon as it gets the opportunity. So Beerful still very much in this third race of this best of 5.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen Beerful pull off a faster Jackio kill several times tonight. So that just right there would be enough to close that gap. It's definitely any man's game at this point.
Yeah, both players moving into the bridge sequence of 4-2. Both players have the appropriate amount of Ninpo, so barring some sort of crazy act here, should be able to maneuver through the rest of the screen with relative ease. And we'll see if KB catches this boost off this Pickle Ninja that he skipped earlier. He skips it again.
Yeah, he decided to skip it again. That's really interesting. I wonder if that's just a safety strat on his behalf. He's not comfortable with it. He doesn't want to risk the time loss of missing it.
Yeah, I want to know. Somebody get him in the booth. Send him a microphone to his house. I want to know.
Yeah, he's gonna. We'll get Knucklebuster on TTS. Come in here and let us know.
KB did take a little bit of a knockback there, but this is a really bad place to get hung up, actually. Okay, he resets the screen. This is important. You need to maintain forward momentum throughout the second half of that screen if you want to catch that bullet boost. And that bullet boost, outside of I think that bullet boost is like the largest boost time save in the game. I think the next closest boost is probably the SP boost. So really good on him to kind of recognize, I need to stop and set the screen before I continue forward and load the turret.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We had a lead change there, B-Fob taking the lead, but pretty impressive how well he pulled out of that situation. As they move here into 5, I guess it looks like KB over-manipped the Hammer Bro there, just completely took him out. We'll have to see, and having some issues there with that Hammer Bro, had to throw the star into him.
Yeah, it's something I'd like to talk about just ever so briefly because we haven't really explained it, I don't think. But yeah, that first Hammer Bro that's standing on the pillar at the beginning of 5-1, if you kind of hang in the air when you're loading his spawn, you can actually get him to kind of drop a little bit lower on the pillar, which lets you damage boost off his toesies, and you boost up the pillar and you save yourself what can sometimes be an annoying wall climb or flip flop. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the manip there at the beginning of 5-1. There are some scenarios where you can catch an unfavorable pattern and it's not possible, but really interesting to see whether runners get that or not, because it is a time save, albeit a marginal one.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just say that I think from now on that might just have to be the Toesies boost.
Oh boy, I've opened a can of cottage cheese, as it were.
Which has already happened. As we see here, we're getting the Janet boost. Beerful Belly nails it, as does Knucklebuster. The Janet boost, also an invention of the somewhat perfect, but not so great at predictions anymore, Finney.
We'll see. This is still very, very close. As long as Beerful doesn't whip out some kind of plate kill or something, I still like KB's chances. Both runners looking. Oh
My goodness.
The worst example of commentator's curse, maybe at least definitely in the history of the NRL. KB taking a very, very untimely death. But what I love about this matchup though is that like Beerful and Knucklebuster are the best at recovering from this kind of scenario, because it's just they just switch to a different category.
Yeah, they just go low percent. Yeah, you can see he went through, those are world record strats that he's using for low percent through that last screen there. So he's just doing his thing. It's a big loss. He's a full screen back, but not nearly as back as it could be otherwise.
Yeah, and once again, this is kind of similar to when Retro took a death in 5-3 earlier. It's not so much the stage routing that's problematic. It's really this mouth fight. You can see the stark contrast between just giving the old bzz with the spin slash versus having to manually slash them down. It's just such a big time loss.
Yeah, that is the majority of the time loss there, is just having to deal with Malthan that way. And it was interesting. The way KB died there, he got hit by that Jetpack Ninja's shuriken on his when he landed, and I wonder if maybe he spun too early, and so the spin slash stopped, and by the time he landed, it didn't take out that shuriken, which caused him to get knocked into the pit. It's not a common area, not a common death that you see.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be the biggest source of deaths at this point in the tournament. It's just those really, really weird, strange one-offs that don't really happen to people. I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen to KB again for like another 3,000 attempts or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not something you see, and you're absolutely right. Where the skill level and the consistency between these two runners, the only thing that's going to take them out is just something very, very strange that they don't see coming.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were able to interview KB after this. I wouldn't be surprised if he says, "I've never died that way before."
Yeah. I wouldn't either. Absolutely. All right, so Beerful of Belly actually moving. He's halfway through 6-3 now, on his way into the bird boost. KB coming up toward the exit boost, and going to take the safe route in. It looks like, so that was a 10:40 exit door there, so I'd imagine he's about 30 seconds behind.
Beerful though opted to forgo the bird